welcome to A Stylish Life. My name is ShaKayla Diamond, and on my channel we talk about all things fashion, business, lifestyle, and travel. So make sure you subscribe if you want to get into all of those things. On this video, we're going to get into the Met Gala. If you didn't know, the Met Gala, well, you gotta know unless you're under a rock, but on Monday, May 5th, first Monday in May, was the Met Gala. And it was everything we needed and then some. If you watched my last video, then you know that the theme of this year was super fine, tailoring black style and essentially like black dandyism. So it was all things black excellence, and they did not disappoint. So we're gonna get into whose looks were a hit, whose looks were a miss, who we wanted a little more from, and all of the details. So let's get right into it. Now, before we get into best or worst dress, I want to get into some moments that kind of just started the night off in a perfect way and set the tone. So we all know that this year's theme, like I stated before, is essentially black excellence, tailoring black style, and being a dandy, which is being well groomed, tailored, your suit being just individualized to you and what your style is. And the tone was set by opening the night with a all black male choir singing Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Marvin Gaye. I was watching it live on vogue.com and I literally was basically crying. Like, it just was so beautiful. I feel like we've never seen anything done like this, and to be able to be a black person in the fashion industry and experience something like this in my lifetime, it felt amazing to watch. I feel like they made the theme for this year what it was, and they made sure that they followed through with what the event in the night looked like, versus just saying that this was the theme and it was kind of like blackness was an undertone. No, blackness was the whole story. It was the whole plot. It was the whole event from beginning to end. So the black choir, black male choir, set the tone for me, okay? Now, let's get into another fact. Apparently, this year's Met Gala broke the record for the most money raised. $31 million were raised. And that has been the most money raised in the 77 years that the Met Gala has been going on. When black people do it, we gonna do it. We gonna make the statement. We're going to do it the biggest that you've seen, and we did exactly that. So for this year to have raised the most money when it's surrounding blackness in fashion, I love that for us. Also, this was the first Met Gala that surrounded menswear in the past 20 years. I do wish that Andre Leon Talley was here to see this. I wish that Virgil was here to see this. Like, we have lost so many like fashion icons and legends that would have loved to see this moment, but Andre is definitely one that is at the top of that list. If you know anything, he is a very large and pivotal moment of the fashion industry when it pertains to blackness, and for the Met Gala. His moments when he would interview at the top of the stairs for all those years were some of the most amazing moments. And when the black celebrities came across him, it was like you're talking to your family member. So I would have loved to have had that as on top of this. Like, that would have been the cherry on top. But those three things is what I had to start with. The fact that it opened up with the all black male choir. We broke the record for the most money raised, $31 million in the 77 years that this has been going on. And this year was the first male menswear exhibit in the past 20 years. So now, let's get into the fashions, okay? We're gonna start off with who I feel was the best dressed. Now, it was a little bit of everybody there, like people that you wouldn't even expect. We saw Tyler Perry, Babyface, Stevie Wonder, Usher. I feel like Usher is not really that like surprising, but Tyler Perry was very surprising for me. Whoopi Goldberg was there. It was literally, Spike Lee was there. Dapper Dan was there. I do feel like he deserved to be a chair, but And I don't know what happened and why they dropped the ball with that. I don't know if he turned it down or what, but he definitely deserved to be a chair if you ask me, but I'm glad that he was in attendance. The chairs were A$AP Rocky, Coleman Domingo, LeBron James, but he did not attend due to a knee injury, Lewis Hamilton, and Pharrell. But I feel like Dapper Dan could have been on that list. Who else was there? It was so many people there. Like all the black celebs and talent showed up and showed out. People that you wouldn't even expect. Lauryn Hill was there. Erykah Badu was not there, which is very shocking to me because she's always there. And for her to miss this year, which I would think would be more important to her. I don't know. But who else? It was like so many people there. Only person we was really missing was Beyonce. But she's booked, busy, and on tour, so there's that. Now let's get into best dress. So I don't know if this is in any particular order, but the first one is like my fave. So Teyana Taylor, she wore a Marc Jacobs look and she was styled by Ruth Carter. She embodied like a Harlem rose, because you know that's her whole brand, like a rose in Harlem, because she's from Harlem. But she had dandyism on lock with like a 3-piece suit, a big hat, and a cape. It actually might have been like a suit vest with a shirt and pants, and then a cape, and then a hat with Harlem Rose embroidered on the cape. The hat also had a really nice feather. People were killing it with the hats and with the feathers. But she's definitely my top fave. And to have Ruth Carter within your wardrobe from Met Gala, like she definitely ate that, because Ruth Carter don't come out often unless it's a movie or something and the bag is big. But to have her basically be your costume designer for the Met Gala in a custom Marc Jacobs look, like chef's kiss. She actually opened the carpet, so she was the first one to arrive. Next is, so these two are in order. Next is Jodie Smith. Jodie, my Jodie, she looked so good. Like she ate the theme up. Everything was tailored so well. It was still sexy yet super on point and on theme. It was menswear but feminine. She was in a Burberry look and she was styled by Wayman and Micah. She wore like this deep red look with like a chocolate brown hat, and it looked so beautiful against her skin tone. The coat, I feel like, was the star of her entire outfit, and of course I'm going to insert pictures of everyone, but her coat, like, it was so bomb. Everything was so cinched in and fitted. Dandyism, tailored to a T, to the body, like you were born in this outfit. It's birthday suit. But she had on a coat with like a suit underneath. It looks like it was like some very fitted pants with maybe a blazer and a corset, and chef's kiss. So I know for a fact that Teyana and Jodie were my top two. They are competing for the #1 spot. I really don't even know if I could pick between the two to say one was better than the other, but they definitely ate no crumbs left, okay? Next is Diana Ross. Diana Ross wore a Hugo look. Let me get his last name. Hugo Mazzi. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, don't kill me. But Diana Ross wore a Hugo Mazzi all white look. It was like a ostrich feathered look, and on her train that was like 18 feet long, her children and grandchildren's names were embossed and engraved in her cape. The look was designed by Hugo and her son Evan Ross, who was also her date to the Met, but she looked great and she was a showstopper when she pulled up and came in. Like, I would say she had the most show-stopping look. Like, it took a whole entourage of people to carry her look for her. And it was so funny seeing her in her wedge sandals. She said, "Look, boo, this outfit is already heavy. Babe, I'm seasoned. I'm not about to be in here with no heels, but it's still going to be cute. And my outfit is the best." Next would be Lauryn Hill. She had on a all yellow look with a amazing umbrella and a blue Hermes Kelly bag, I believe. Her look was by Shani Shine. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, okay? But that is the name of the brand. I'll put it on the screen as well. But she looked amazing. I loved her look, and I loved that her gold kind of like embossed fan matched her look. She looked super good. She was very, very late, but she looked great. If you watch my video on Instagram and TikTok about who I wanted to see there or who I felt like would show up, she was one of those people, and she definitely came. And I feel like dandyism is definitely up her alley, because when we see her present day, she always has on like some sort of suit that is super creative and particular to her style. She was styled by Raheem111 on Instagram, but her look was great. Loved it. Definitely her and dandyism, and what she did what she needed to do. Next up is going to be a Catch, the model, the beautiful model. She wore an amazing pink look with like some sort of feathered neck piece that went all around her neck, and it was literally like feathers coming up. Beautiful. She looked beautiful, and she had feathers in the tail of her jacket. Her look was by Swarovski. Yes, the crystals. Yes, that's what her look was by. She looked amazing. And honestly, y'all, I gotta say this. So I thought when I first seen her, I thought that she was bald, okay? I thought she was bald, which it looked phenomenal. But as I was seeing more pictures, I'm like, wait, she got a whole hairstyle on. We need to find out who slicked this hair down, because the way I literally thought she was bald, the first picture that I saw, they did that. They slicked it. Okay, we need to know the whole process behind the hair. But the look, beautiful. The neck piece, can't get over it. I really need it in my wardrobe. So next up is going to be Autumn Mason. If you watch my video that I mentioned on Instagram, then he's someone else that I mentioned. He is definitely a dandyist. He is like the perfect person. Like, it's never anything out of place. He wore a look by Boss. He looked like a villain, a hero and a villain that looks great and well tailored. Like, I loved his outfit. His suit was like I don't know if this is glitter or it's some type of like silver shiny material that was high on the neck and gave like a heart open chest detail, with a broad shoulder black cape and a tall black hat, and he had on an eye patch that matched his look. Like, that's why I say he looked like a villain and the hero at the same time. Like, he definitely ate that. I loved his look. Next up is going to be Shabuzi. He wore a Robert One look. I really loved his suit. It was like imagine the pattern that's on wood. That is the pattern that was on his suit, but it was all black. Then he had on some type of garment underneath his jacket that had like turquoise beads draped. Like, I loved it. And then he had a turquoise grill in. Like, Shabuzi looked great. And then he had a like slanted hat that matched his suit. Like, in the tie he had matched the suit as well, with that wooden pattern look, and it just was great. Super creative, and I loved it. Next up is Quinta. She wore a white and black gown with a jacket to match, and it's like the top half of her gown was like a corseted look, and it has some sort of like beaded accent on it, and I just love it. I love the hair that they chose. Like, she definitely gives dandyism, 50s 60s era. Like, I love it. It's kind of giving me like, I think Josephine Baker is who I'm thinking of as far as like her hair. I love it. She looked great. She's in Sergio Hudson. I love her look. She is styled by at High Heel Princess on Instagram. Her look was everything. It looks like simple and effortless, but you can really get into the details of what she had to offer, and she looked really, really good. Next is Rihanna in a Marc Jacobs look, styled by her stylist, Jaleel Weaver. She looked great. I feel like her look was very creative. She had on basically like a cropped blazer jacket, a corset, and her skirt, which was like a floor length skirt, was actually replicant of a suit jacket. So like it was buttoned in the front with 2 buttons, like a pinstripe long suit jacket coat. And then in the back, it was like what would be the shoulders and the arms of the jacket. Like, I like that a lot. And I feel like her outfit mixed a lot of textures. I loved her adding the polka dots with her tie. I feel like with dandyism, dandies are always adding in prints, whether that is like stripes or polka dots or things like that. Like, they add in color without it being tacky. They add in that color and it still looks well put together. So I love that she had on like a look that was mostly like black and gray, but she added in that burgundy tie with the polka dots for like a pop of color. I love how she had like a faux collar around her neck with the tie. I feel like those little small elements really added that dandy effect. She also had like a handkerchief in her suit jacket pocket that was like a green polka dot, like it's bomb. And then her shoes topped it all off. And I love that she has so many different textures. So like I said, she has on like your very tailored cropped tux jacket that's super bomb, comes at a great stop right here. And then it's like her corset is another pinstripe look, but it's a completely different color and they go in different directions. Initially I brought up texture because I thought that it was like a textured material, but it looks like it is just pinstripes in a different, like in different directions. But it also looks like multiple ties. Like, I wish I could get more into this picture. So she basically used polka dots and pinstripes, and that is a dandy for sure. She also had on a Stephen Jones millinery hat. Everybody had on hats by that brand, okay? The hats were outside, okay? But I loved her look. And she had on shoes by Amina Muaddi. Now, she had a big reveal for us. Should I tell y'all now? Because there was a few reveals at the Met Gala that I'm going to mention. I'll tell y'all now, because y'all already know. She's pregnant with baby number 3. And apparently she'd been pregnant. But I feel like we kind of could have peeped that scene, because when we did see her like at the Fenty Beauty and Fenty Hair events, she was in super baggy clothes. So some people speculated. But you know, we got to mind our business about women and their bodies. But she is pregnant with baby number 3, and she revealed it at the Met Gala. She actually was caught in her look before she came to the Met Gala, and that's how everyone saw that she was pregnant. So I won't say she revealed it at the Met Gala, but she revealed it the date of the Met Gala. Very fashion girl of her, if we do say so ourselves. But we knew that she was going to pop out because she is queen of the Met Gala. Every single year she kills it, and that is a documented fact. But also her man, A$AP Rocky, was a co-chair of the Met Gala. So why wouldn't you step? And you revealing that you're pregnant or showing the public that you are pregnant. Yeah, we knew she was gonna do it. But I love how she always kind of puts those different creative elements. Like the fact that her skirt is a suit jacket and the back is like the arms tied up. Like, some people might say, oh, what is this? But that's what the Met Gala is to get creative, to be outside the box. And I feel like she did that with the theme. So next is going to be Janelle Monae. Now, we all know that Janelle Monae is known for a tux and a suit, as I spoke about in my last video. And she is definitely the female version of a dandy. She knows how to do male and female aspects perfectly. And this year she wore a Tom Brown and Paul Tazewell collab look. It was basically like a suit jacket with a suit underneath, a three-piece suit underneath that was super embossed in patterns, red, black, and white, but so much pattern and detail surrounding it. Paul Tazewell is the costume designer for the movie Wicked. He won an Oscar a couple months back, but she looked amazing. This Tom Brown look eats. And apparently on the outside of the jacket, there is a bag like printed in the design of the jacket. When she takes the jacket off, she is wearing the suit that is on the jacket and carrying the bag. I love that. And then she has some sort of like clock over her eye that they used to do a lot back in the day. So she definitely committed to the theme, as she always does. Her down to the nails, and I love everything about this. Even her hair is like a 3D type of style. I love this. I love this a lot. Next is going to be, oh, and another thing about it that made it so amazing, Paul is who took her coat off and revealed her look underneath on the carpet. Chef's kiss. Next is Angel Reese in a Tom Brown look. I feel like she looked amazing, super buttoned up, super still like her sexy style that she likes to wear, but very on theme. I feel like she looked amazing. 10s across the board. I have nothing bad to say. She did amazing, and I think this is what, like her second Met Gala. Like, she did that. Next is going to be Iman Hammam. She wore a Magda Bertram look, and she honestly deserved to be higher up in the list. That's why I said after the first two, these are not necessarily in order, but she ate it up, okay? She ate it up. Like, she ate it up. She had this like headpiece, this feathered headpiece on, but she had on a full tux. Like, I love it. Or is this a jumpsuit? You guys, I'm looking at the pictures. Yeah, this is actually a jumpsuit that looks like a tux with a shirt underneath. So the fact that this is a jumpsuit and not like a two-piece, that's bomb. But she had on the jumpsuit with a polka dot tie underneath and a black shirt. Polka dots are very dandy, trying to tell you. Feathered hat, cane, and Christian Louboutin and Margiela collab heels or little boots. But yeah, I love this. She looks super buttoned up. Love the white look with the black accents. Like, she did that. Next is Laura Harrier in a Zach Posen look. I loved her look. I feel like it was like, it's not linen, but the fact that she had the flowy wide leg pants with the vest and flowy top underneath, I feel it's very dandy and very like reminiscent of style back in the early, like probably 40s and 50s. I love that she had this look. It seems very simple and effortless, but she is very on theme, very tailored. I love everything about her look. Like, I feel like she did this perfectly. Her and Zach Posen, they did that. Like, she looks like a writer or a poet from back in the day or something, or like a high-class wife or woman of importance and elegance. Love everything about this. Beautiful. So next is going to be Tessa Thompson in a Prabal Gurung look, styled by Wayman and Micah. She ate. Y'all, she ate. And then she had a custom fan of Andre Leon Talley to pay homage to him. Her look is by Prabal Gurung, like I said. She had ruffled cuffs, like black ruffled cuffs around her wrist by Miss Claire Sullivan. And she had on a Stephen Jones millinery hat. Like I told you, they killed the carpet with their hats. And her fan is by I Am Watts on Instagram, but she killed it. Like, I love the yellow and black. I love that she basically has on like a dress that looks like a suit jacket, but it is slimming, and then to the waist it kind of poofs out but still holds its shape. I love everything about this. And then she had on like some 7-inch heels that they just look bomb. I feel like it added like a modern style to a dandy look. Love it. I love this. I love how the theme allowed for everyone in attendance to showcase what they may look like if they were back during the times of like the height of dandyism, like the 40s, the 50s, like even the 70s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and even the 70s. Like, I just love how it was kind of like a step back to the past. The fashions reminded me a lot of Sinners. Sinners displayed dandyism to a T, which is amazing how it just came out, and now the Met Gala just came with the theme. They are super aligned, but that's because dandyism is what Black people dress like. That is who we are. That is what we always have been. That is what we had no choice but to be. We created the term Sunday's best. That is dandyism. The fact that we wouldn't even leave our homes without being dressed to a T, suit ironed, clothes ironed, your best dress, your hair the way it needs to be, accessorized, like, we didn't have anything but that. Nowadays, people dress how they want, but back in the day, it was rare that you saw people not dressed to the nines. Next, I loved Babyface's look. He's another person where I'm like, they really caught everybody here and hopped on a Zoom. But Babyface was there, and I loved his look. I feel like it looks like something that he could wear now. Black men are the dandiest, Black older men especially. So I definitely feel like I love that his look looked effortless. It looked like something that he could wear. It didn't seem to take him out of his element, but it still was on theme and fashionable. He is in a Laquan Smith look, and I love that Laquan popped out. Now, I told you guys on my last video that I would love to see him there and designing some amazing looks, and he does menswear, but you mostly hear about his women's wear, and he definitely popped out on the men and women's side of things for the Met Gala, and I love that for him. Next, I don't want to say that this person's look is one of my faves, but I appreciate who designed it. So next, I would say Savannah James. I won't say I was completely in love with the look, but I will say that I love that Hanifa was on the carpet. I feel like that is so amazing to see these Black designers on the carpet and getting their shine, getting this opportunity, because this is a major opportunity, and Hanifa is an amazing brand. Now, what I did not like about Savannah's look is the fact that I feel like the new mesh material in the like abdomen area could have been more flesh toned. Now, the thought of the look is great, but that mesh could have definitely been more flesh tone. I feel like with it being such like a thick or dark color, it kind of cheapens it a little bit in that area, but it's not a bad look at all. That's my only critique about it, really. But Savannah had on a Hanifa look styled by Icon Tips, which has been her stylist for a while now, and she looked good. She had a 40-inch bust down, don't play with it. And yeah, that's my only critique about that. I really wish that the mesh in the midriff area was more flesh toned and seamless, but I like the idea of what they did. Another person whose look I really liked was Coco Jones. She had on a look by Manish Mohatra. She's styled by Maeve Riley. We all know who she is. She styled a bunch of celebs, but she looked really good. Her look had a lot of like embroidery and appliques and like pearls and beading, and I just feel like it looked really good. It was her play on the theme. This was her first Met Gala, and she just released her first album, so she came and she did a great job. I love how the hair was super sleek with the really long braid, but I love the depth of her look. It looked really good. Next is going to be, we're not gonna dive too much into these next few looks, but Burna Boy, I really liked his look. I like that with his look, he had on like a, I don't know if this is like a leather, but he had on some type of cape that I feel was a great touch to his look, and I loved his choice of the deep reddish burgundy color. He was wearing an Oswald Boateng look. Oswald Boateng had like 20 different looks on the carpet. I read a story that said in 2019 he hosted a fashion show in Harlem or something like that the day before the Met to showcase up-and-coming Black designers, but he wasn't even invited. Now this year he had 20 designs on the carpet and his own table, so he ate that. Someone else whose look I really liked, I liked Tyla's look. She had on a Jacquemus look. She's styled by Law Roach. I love that her look was kind of simple to her style, but her jacket was like a men's button-up, but super large and with the long train turned into a jacket. And the way her dress hung off of her shoulder gave her that sexy appeal that she usually has, and I love that. I love how they made her short haircut match the tone of her skin. She reminded me of Etta James with how she looked. I don't know if that was their inspiration, but she definitely reminded me of Etta James, and the era that Etta James was, like the 1940s, is definitely dandiest territory. So if they did, they ate that, because she definitely reminded me of Etta James. Someone else whose look I liked was Angela Bassett. She was styled by Law Roach in a Burberry look. I feel like it looked very great on her. I love this like print that they chose to use, and it being a different texture with kind of like a caped jacket versus just your standard suit jacket. She had on a hat, of course. I told you everybody came with the hats and the canes because that is the style. And underneath her jacket was like a corset in that same pattern and material of the rest of her look, and I definitely liked her look. I feel like it was very appropriate for her and she looked good. Another person whose look I liked was Whitney Peak. I'm not sure who she is, but she had on a Chanel tweed skirt suit, and it was bomb. Like, it was a great example of dandyism and tailoring Black fashion. So she looked amazing. She honestly looked like someone from like an old Chanel catalog, so I loved her look. Another person whose look I really liked was Jenny. I'm not sure her last name, but she was also in a Chanel look as well. It was like it looks like a jumpsuit, and the pants part has a skirt that flares out. It was super cute with a Chanel hat. I loved it, definitely on theme. Another person, which I cannot end this segment of best dress without mentioning her, is Doechii. She had on a custom Louis Vuitton look by Pharrell, and I loved it. I feel like a lot of people didn't like it because of that she didn't have on what they expected her to wear, but I feel like that is Doechii. She's doing what you don't expect. I feel like it was a different and creative spin on what the theme was. She used different like patterns of Louis Vuitton. She used the checker print as well as like the monogram logo print, and I think it looked bomb. And then she had on a mini Speedy to match her pants. She had a fro, and on her flawless makeup on her cheeks she had LV branded, and I just think the look looks bomb. It definitely like resembles dandyism, and it's different from what everybody else had on. She had on burgundy loafers and socks to match her tie that she had on, and I liked it a lot. She is styled by Sam Wolf per usual, and I like Doechii. Give her 10s. How could I forget to mention my girl, Tracy Ellis Ross? I cannot end this segment of Best Dress without mentioning her. We all know that she dresses down, but she ate up the Met Gala. She had on a custom Marc Jacobs look, paired with a Stephen Jones millinery hat, and she was styled by her stylist Carla Welch, and she looked so good. She ate the theme down, dandy to its finest. So now that we've talked about the best dress list, let's get into the people who should have gave a little bit more, okay? So first up, and I hate to say it, but first up is my girl Issa Rae. I love everything Issa Rae does, but the look she wore for the Met Gala, I did not like it. I feel like that's something she could have wore to the Oscars or something like that, but this is the Met Gala. This is where you pull out all the stops. This is where when you think you're doing the most, you do a couple more notches up than that. And I feel like she just was so relaxed. Like, she could have done so much more. We've seen her in suits, and I feel like she has such a great bone structure and such a beautiful face that we could have seen her do so much more. She did have on a Oswald Boateng look. I just spoke about him previously. She had on like a three-piece suit with like some pants. I was gonna call them capris, but they're like very tailored pants with a vest and a jacket. And I don't know, I just feel like it wasn't horrible, but for the Met Gala, it was not it. She could have just done more. Like, this is the Met Gala. Like, come on. Next up is someone who was on this list, but then I took them off. Initially, I will not lie, I said Megan Thee Stallion, okay? Now hear me out. I was watching it live on Vogue.com. When I seen her, I'm like, I don't really like this. And then the hair threw me off as well. Now, I am a hottie through and through, but it just threw me off. But as I saw more pictures like on the internet of her and got a grasp for the inspiration, now I understand. So she wore a custom Michael Kors look. It was like a crystal dress with like 75,000 crystals. And then she wore a faux fur coat to go with it, with a very long train. So I liked it better when I saw the pictures. And then her hair was inspired by Josephine Baker. Initially, I'm like, why do she got this like Jasmine from Aladdin hairstyle? But it is inspired by Josephine Baker, and that is someone who definitely exemplifies dandyism in the height of being a dandy. So I have to take her off that list, but initially I did not care for it. So I don't know. She is styled by Eric Archibald as well. Next is Sierra. Now Sierra had on a Laquan Smith look styled by Marnie, and I won't say it was bad. She looked really good. It just, to me, didn't really go with the theme. Like, it was another one of those looks that could be for Grammys or Oscars or whatever, but it was not Met Gala ready. Like, I feel like Sierra could have did like a bomb tailored tux situation. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the gown wasn't really doing what we needed it to do for the Met Gala, okay? Next is Kamala, Madam Vice President. She had on an off-white look, and I feel like Kamala does suits so often and so well that now is the time for her to really show out and pop out with something of that caliber. She could have still done an off-white look, or she could have even done a Christopher John Rogers look, but I just feel like this look was so safe, and she could have killed a power suit. So I feel like the mark was definitely missed on that one. Next is everybody with their ass out. It was so many people that had on like little panties and stuff like that. The only person I saw do it well was Sabrina Carpenter, but everyone else, and I will insert pictures, had their ass out. And it's like, what is going on? Like, I don't think this is dandy. And even if you put a suit jacket with the little panties, it's not doing what y'all think it's doing. So everybody who did goes on this list. Put the ass up. Dandy is classic, tailored. How you tailored and you don't even got no pants on? Anyway, next is, and last on this list. Now, this is not including everybody who attended the Met Gala. This is just my thoughts and what I could think of. Okay, so last is Halle Berry. Now, I understand she wanted to feel powerful, sexy, whatever, but this dress was not it. She had on a Laquan Smith look, and she had the cat out the bag. When I insert the pictures, you will understand exactly what I mean by that. But the cat was out the bag and it was on the carpet, and we should have left the cat at home. She could have done so much more with that, been so much more sexy, sleeker, and cleaner in a different look. So I definitely put her on that list. I expected more from her. Now that we've discussed the good and the bad, let's get into the groundbreaking news. So Future has a new hairstyle. He looks like a YN. We don't really know what was the thing behind getting rid of the locks, but we shall see what this music sounds like with this new hairstyle. Next is Rihanna is pregnant. As I've already mentioned, she's pregnant with baby number 3. We're super happy for her and ASAP. Damson Idris premiered his new clothing brand, Didris, and that's what he wore to the Met Gala. He started off with a Tommy Hilfiger tracksuit to promote his new movie, F1, and he had on a Swarovski crystal helmet, and when he took it off, he had on his brand, and we love that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know who you felt was the best or worst dress, and maybe some people that I missed. And make sure you subscribe to my channel for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. What